Hey y'all, it's April the 3rd, 2017. I wanted to holler at y'all about something real quick. I think it's pretty important. I want to let y'all know something. If you didn't know, chances are some of y'all don't know out there, but I had to let you know about something. It's very important, and it's this: racism. Racism does not exist. It doesn't. Alright. Thought we'd just start off just by saying that. Alright, because I know there's going to be a lot of controversy. Alright, most people who watch this video, they're aware of racism. They've known racism coming up. And they were taught about racism in their public schools. And they've been taught by their televisions about racism. And all sort of racism. They've been drowning in it. And so when I say it does not exist, they get angry about that. I don't blame them for getting angry about that. However, it's just like the thing is, I can't control what goes on in their brains, and apparently they can't control what goes on in my brain. The thing is, I've realized through a lot of life experiences and literature, such as the Bible, and especially the Bible, and a lot of people don't like the Bible, I've learned that no matter how much racist people we might have known growing up, no matter how much television wants to tell you that people are racist, your public schools have taught you, your private schools have taught you, all these schools have taught you, that racism is everywhere. I'm here to just keep things simple, because that's what we do on this channel. Take complicated things and we make them simple. Racism does not exist. Right? According to my belief structure, which is structured in the Bible. Alright? And a lot of people don't like the Bible, and I understand that. But I just want to get my message across here. That racism doesn't exist. It's not even mentioned in the Bible really at all. Not really. Doesn't exist according to my belief structure over here, which is different from most people's, because they don't like the Bible, and that's cool. And my belief structure, you gotta understand that racism doesn't exist, but however, there is something that does exist, and people call it racism. Alright? What I'm here to alright, let's just keep it simple, alright? Hatred. People got hatred in their hearts. This is taught about in the Bible. The hatred that people have in their hearts for others absolutely does exist. It's always existed. The thing is, just because you complicate things and call it racism does not mean it is now racism. What it is, quite simply, racism is the complicated way of thinking about it. What it is in a simplistic way is hatred in the heart of a person for others. Alright, you gotta understand, this is all encompassing, and this was taught about in the Bible. The thing is, it's hatred in people's hearts for all sort of reasons, for any number of reasons. Hatred, you gotta understand that some reasons are more legitimate than other reasons. For example, let me just throw out an example. You might have a tribe of native cannibalistic little pygmies running around trying to eat people. It would make sense to hate that group of pygmies. You understand? And it's, okay, now you got a group of people and they got a different skin color than you. It does not make sense, you understand? That's one of those variables that really doesn't make sense. In fact, it never existed. Alright, but we've been taught that it does exist. We've been taught by our parents, who were taught by their television, who were taught by their public schools, just like we were taught by our public schools, just like we were taught by people who were running around acting silly. Someone told them that racism exists way back when. Talking about a long time ago, they said, hey, there's this thing and it's called racism, and y'all are out there being racist. And it doesn't exist. Like we already mentioned, I mean, the simplified way to look at it is that there's hatred. There's hatred in people's hearts, right? For any number of people, for all sort of different reasons. It does not matter what reason that you name it. You can call it racism. You can make up other different words. Does not matter. It is hatred in people's hearts for other people, and that's not good, right? I mean, I've already expressed my feelings towards it. That's not good. That's not the stuff that I like. I don't like when people have hatred in their hearts for anybody else, right? Without valid reasons, right? You might live next door to a crazy serial murderer pedophile, and it's valid to hate this person. You know what I mean? I mean, it's really that simple, and people keep complicating it and stuff. People keep talking about racism like it exists, and it doesn't. It really doesn't. The thing is about racism, it is a choice. At the end of the day, racism is a choice. Whether or not you choose to acknowledge it is whether or not it exists. You understand? That's the power of the human mind. You can make it exist if you simply acknowledge it. You can make it disappear if you simply choose to do so. You understand? Like, what I mean when I say that is this. I'm not the only person out here that thinks racism doesn't exist. I'm not the first person to say this. By a long shot, there's been a long list of people who have gone out in public and told you that racism doesn't exist, but however you don't want to listen to them. You say, these people are wrong. You say Lil Wayne is wrong. You're saying Donald Trump is wrong. You're saying Gerard the autistic is wrong. You're saying all these people are wrong. They're saying that racism doesn't exist, and I'm right because I have all this evidence and I have all these statistics out here to prove that racism does exist. That's what people are thinking out there. They're thinking, of course these people are wrong. All these people are wrong that say that racism doesn't exist. Jesse Lee Peterson, for number one. All these people out here that say that racism does not exist, they're all wrong. These people are all wrong. Mind you, I mean, think about it this way. You really can't sway them. Their life experiences have proved to them that racism doesn't exist. In fact, it's a distraction. In fact, what it is hatred in people's hearts for others. Right? Racism doesn't exist. But could you imagine this? I mean, if you had the choice to believe in your head that racism doesn't exist, or you had the choice to believe in your head that racism does exist, which one would you choose? Would you like to turn it off? Would you like to turn off that switch and says, racism doesn't exist? You turn off that switch and you say, racism is not a thing that I acknowledge, thereby does not exist. The end. It really is that easy and simple, and a lot of people, they're going to continue to complicate things. They're not going to want to turn off that switch in their head. They're going to want to continue to think that racism exists. It doesn't. Hatred in people's hearts exists. It really is that simple. Alright? But here, if you need more evidence, because I know you have all sort of numbers. And mind you, you have legitimate numbers. I completely find your numbers to be valid. All the numbers that you showed me, statistically, that racism exists. Alright? I've seen it all. I've gone to public school. I believed what you believed before. Alright, so I've done all that. Here, you want some evidence that racism not only doesn't exist, but if it did exist, that it does not exist in this country. If you want some evidence, guess what? I'll have the link down there below. You can look at it if you want to. Go for it. I've been watching Chance the Rapper's live performances, a lot of them lately. A lot of them. They're stellar every time. They're absolutely breathtaking. Chance the Rapper, if you didn't know. Alright. I've been seeing his live performances on the internet. Right, stunning. This link that I left for you down there below is absolute non-stop 100% absolute complete total evidence that if racism actually did exist, doesn't exist here, not in America, not by a long shot. I'm just try and take this in. This is a clip. It's from the Ellen DeGeneres show. The Ellen DeGeneres show. I mean, we're talking about network TV right in the middle of the day. Any kind of retired old grandma be watching this. My mom probably be watching this. Ellen DeGeneres. A song that the lyrics, you would just, because, I mean, it's kind of stunning because you wouldn't believe that the lyrics could be even put on television. But no, it was put on the Ellen DeGeneres show. And when you see this whole room full of people, all sort of different colors, just dancing around and stuff on the Ellen DeGeneres show, singing this particular song, you'll understand deep in your heart that racism, it don't exist, especially not here. Especially not here. This would not be possible. Don't let your eyes deceive you, because this would not be possible. Had racism existed in this dang country, it would not be possible. But there's a video of it right there on the Ellen DeGeneres show. Racism doesn't exist, alright? Now, this has been a long video. I took a little bit longer than I thought I was going to take. But here, I want to see, the thing is, the problem is with me is sometimes I touch on certain things and they'll be controversial. I don't just touch on them like oh, that's my stick. I'm just going to keep bringing it up, right? Sometimes I touch on certain things that aren't so important, like this one. This topic, it is kind of important, but it's not the most important when it comes to the fact that racism doesn't exist and you've been lied to for a long, long time. When it comes to that particular topic, it is pretty important to know, or at least to understand, that some people do not believe that it exists, because there are people out there, and that is a fact, that some people believe it does not exist. And these are people of all different kind of colors. Alright, there's people out there who so that is an important topic to talk about, you guys. But you know what, I want to finish up on this note. What's even more important, and I don't think people are understanding the gravity, honestly, of how important is pedophilia, dude. And I mean, it's like I shouldn't even have to say. Why should I even have to say that that's more important? Why should I even say that that's what we should be concentrated on more often than, say, Donald Trump, or say racism, you know what I'm saying? All these divides. I mean, can we not all gather around? I'm being honest. Can we not all gather around the idea of stomping out pedophilia whenever we find it, wherever we find it, all the time, every time? I mean, is that not a subject that just happens to hold more priority than, oh man, he said this kind of word and she said that kind of word? Yes, words hurt people's feelings sometimes, and I'm sorry that it does. I try not to use inappropriate words. I try to never use inappropriate words. Right? And they can hurt people's feelings sometimes. Pedophilia is all around us. And I know you're thinking in your head, you're thinking, well, he's making a jump. He's making a jump to pedophilia and stuff. Where's he come from with this? It just happens to be more important. It's a more pressing issue when children are getting their lives shattered continuously in this country right now, in every local city, in all these little towns. It is happening. It is shattering little children's lives, but yet and still we want to think about words that hurt our feelings, dude. We're too deep for that. I'm sorry that we're too deep for that. You know what I'm saying? But there's certain things out there, and there's certain people, and I left some more links down there below if you want to hear about all sort of pedophiles. They're either going to get away with it, they're not going to get away with it. And that is the real issue. A lot of very serious people are taking it to heart, to include a Donald Trump on his Twitter. And a lot of people ain't going to agree with what he said on his Twitter. A lot of people aren't going to agree with what Donald Trump said on his Twitter, but, you know, I can't say verbatim. You can go look it up. Donald Trump, he basically said, pedophiles, ain't having it. Donald Trump on his Twitter said, you know, pedophiles, ain't having it. In fact, fast trial, in fact, death penalty. That's what he said on his Twitter. Alright, it seems as though Donald Trump is firmly grasping the gravity of the problem that is pedophilia, because it is a serious, suicidal, disgusting, abominable practice, and somehow, some way, sometimes we get caught up in weird divisions such as racism that doesn't exist, that if we chose to just not accept it, it would cease to be of existence. Right? Anyways, everything is drugs, you guys. Hashtag everything is drugs. And I'll have to holler at y'all later about some stuff. It's April the 3rd, 2017.